Hello again. Let's get back into this Bible Bytes series. We considered Genesis already. Let's look at Exodus, the second book of the Bible. Exodus and you. Bible Bytes. Bite-sized pieces. I want to consider a summary of these books of the Bible and then just help you or suggest that you consider how that applies to your life. I don't want to take a long time to do it. Not going to be a full-blown sermon, but just a few minutes. In Exodus, second book of the Bible, we pick up where Genesis has ended with the 12 sons of Israel, of Jacob, have ended up, or really all of the Israelites, have ended up in Egypt, in Egyptian slavery. And so Exodus opens up with God hearing the cries and the groanings of his enslaved people. Now, are you perhaps one of his enslaved people? Is he hearing your groaning? If you are, then I'm sure that he's hearing you. There are a variety of things we can become enslaved to. Some are obvious and dramatic, and some are kind of small and unnoticed by most people. Maybe they wouldn't know what you're going through, but it could apply. Three major points in Exodus. Deliverance. God delivers them from Egyptian slavery in grand fashion. Deliverance. We've talked about that a few weeks ago in a video message like this. The second point is presence. God's presence in their life. He was with them. There was this amazing sense that they had that in their bewildered, how can I believe this is true? This is amazing kind of state of mind they were in as they were being delivered in the Exodus, which included the parting of the Red Sea and all that. In the midst of that, they had these indicators of God's presence that also blew their mind, but gave them this abiding sense of hope and of just his presence in their lives. There was the pillar of cloud by day and the pillar of fire by night that reminded them of his presence. It was kind of like that was him with them. Of course, it wasn't God himself in terms of him being limited to those things, but it surely reminded them of his presence. And then the third point is instruction. Instruction. Because it doesn't take long as you're reading through the chapters of the book of Exodus before, you find them wandering kind of in the desert with God's presence. And he leads them to Mount Sinai, where Moses receives the Sinai covenant that includes the Ten Commandments and many other instructions. We call it the law. And sometimes we'll call the whole first five books of the Bible the law, Torah. It's a different use of the word law than we're used to. It isn't so much a list of rules only, primarily designed to enforce group behavior only. It's really instruction, authoritative instruction. People are being taught. They're being formed into God's people as a whole, corporately and individually. And they pay the price if they disobey, and they reap the wonderful benefit and blessing of obedience as well. So it is the law, but it's also, and perhaps more, instruction, authoritative instruction. Deliverance, presence, divine presence, and authoritative instruction. Are we getting warm to anything going on in your life? What's God saying to you about those topics? Deliverance, that is to say, rescue. Divine presence, authoritative instruction. It's interesting that the authoritative instruction continues after the Ten Commandments and includes a lot of chapters pointing to God's presence. Chapters about exactly how to build the tabernacle, exactly how to build the priest's garments, because it all meant something. It all symbolized things that had to do with God's presence. I like to call the Bible How to Live with a Holy God. His presence. He wants to live with us. He wants to be with us. He wants us to be with Him. Amazing deliverance, divine presence, authoritative instruction. Where does some of that land in your life, in your mind, and in your heart, in your circumstances today? May the Lord lead you into applying His Word. That's Exodus, deliverance, presence, and instruction. And God is up to those things in your life right now. God bless you.